All right. Good morning, everyone. All right, so we got a smaller group of regulars, and again, we will be focusing on a yoga practice, but looking at like how we massage ourselves. I'll tell you, massage is key, and especially during a time like this. Someone who's regularly getting body work might not have it now, and some days you really feel like you need it. So here's some methods today in class to give yourself a nice massage. I'll try to give options without props and with props. So child pose, if you have a prop, I actually like block a little bit better than a foam roller for this, even though I do a foam roller too, um, is to take that block out in front of you. You'll notice I have this block on its middle height. So here's lowest, here's highest, there's the middle. And what I'm gonna do is place my forehead. So I want you to think like forehead, scalp, temple, eyebrow massage. So you're in child pose. Just notice the placement. I can see my eyes. So I kind of grab the block in child pose and I'm just slightly rocking the head side to side. I'm starting to close my eyes. Remember, yoga, presence, connect, calm down, center, ground, come into the moment here and start to feel the subtleness of the body. So I want you to, in a sense, use your prop, your block. If not, you can actually just have your head on the floor and do this. You can also roll up a towel and do this. But really what you're doing is in essence just massaging out your eyebrows between your eyes. There's a lot of muscles in the forehead. And we're always, doing these eyebrow lifts, the squinting. And we're not doing enough stretching there or enough stimulation probably on the average person. So I want you to get into it. Take another like minute and a half, 2 minutes, because as you massage and you get kind of softening the outer layers, the deeper layers start to expose tightness, okay? So if you're just joining a little bit more of a kind of specialty class today, a little extra emphasis on self-massage. Does everyone feel that? So as I get into this, I basically rock my head side to side mostly, and then I'll kind of reposition the block, so I'll bring it a tiny bit higher. And just be careful, right? The block's not jamming into your nose. There are other methods if you want to get a little bit more kind of technical, where you take the block in child pose. You got to be particular. It's kind of like right under your cheekbone. And it's like the edge of the block, almost the corner, and you let it push right into the edge. The corner, right under the cheekbone. You're going to feel some muscles. It's right about here. And you're going to feel maybe something quite intense, but try to let it settle in slowly. You're going to feel this kind of calming, this rush and release over the head. Really powerful. So check it out if you'd like. So if you're just joining, we're doing a little self-massage. So good for us, helps us relax, good for parasympathetic response. Massage has been used for ancient cultures all across history in many ways. So we're applying it. How can we massage ourselves? Maybe not as good as someone else doing it, but still good. Okay, is everyone feeling that? Good, right? Yeah, and you can actually, I didn't say go to the sidebar. We're actually going to do the side. So you have this huge muscle on the side of your head called your temporalis muscle there, and it's a jaw clencher. We'll do that later though. We're going to do the side of the head and the back of the skull here and the crown today. So we do all that stuff in yoga normally anyway. All right, guys, now let's keep going here. We're going to slowly, come up to our tabletop. Let's just take a cat-cow here. Always good to get that blood flowing. Inhale, arch the back, lift the chin. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin. Try to get the neck involved here. Lengthen the back of the neck on that cat. And I'm feeling a little tight today, so I would take it extra slow, gradually build up the range of motion, the intensity. You're starting kind of very forward and back, very linear, very kind of bilateral. And then what you do as you get into it more is you kind of go outside the lines. So I start to draw circles. I start to go a little side to side. I like to encourage you guys to be as creative as possible and to listen to your body. I'm not the end all what I say. It's, you're open to what I'm saying. You're learning from different people you take classes from. But there's always that heavy dose of, in the moment, what's my body telling me, and just apply via what that information is. All right? And Our next thing here would be a nice downward dog. I'm just kind of moving through. You guys know this stuff here. Tuck toes, hips up and back. And use this to kind of get into your toes and ankles. Lift those hips up and back, get into the underarms. Try to shake your head yes or no, let the neck decompress. Again, make it feel good, right? It's okay to be messy with your postures. If that's an intention and you're using it for something. You don't want to be messy unmindfully or fidgeting too much, but purposeful movement, man, really good for you. Okay, so a couple of you still coming in. A little, if you have blocks or like a foam roller, I want to do a little extra focus on self-massage today. All right. The stuff that I use all the time that I don't really kind of give enough. All right. Now I'm going to keep it going here, guys. So take your time. Now I'm going to do a little bit easier version. We're going to bring it down to the knees, and you can have your block if you want. All right. But for this one, I'm going to start to lean back a little bit. I'm going to sit right on my heels. Now my knees are a little wide, my big toes are touching. And what I'm going to do to start to massage the top of the feet here is I'm going to lift my knees. Now, this can be tough, so you might need extra padding. But remember, this is gentle yoga. You can do one knee at a time. You also are welcome to kind of prop a block under your shin is a nice version. That is a version where we use blocks and foam rollers to massage out our shin. Think about when you get a massage. Sometimes it's kind of very moving, almost fast, superficial. And sometimes it's just a steady, deep hold. Static, right? So you can apply both of those in here. So if you did one side with the block, I lift the other knee, kind of just prop it up. You're gonna feel more of an ankle stretch there. Either way, it's a compression massage. I'm gonna continue with this moving, feels a little bit more needed for me today. So again, instead of thinking all stretching and body parts, movement, we're gonna think massage. Let's get off of those shins. Take your time. If you need to kind of tuck your toes after that for a moment, always applying like a little neutralizer. Reduce any sensations via intuitive movements. Okay, so next thing is for your hand. Now, a lot of times I like to use like a massage ball, like a tennis ball, you kind of massage it, but I'm gonna teach you the compression method today. It's not easy, all right? If you can't do it, do a little more stretch instead. Watch me here. I turn, I have to shift weight to my left hand, so I have to reposition it a little bit. But what I'm gonna do is turn my finger space in with my right hand, bring it next to my knee, and then look at this. I bring my right knee literally onto the palm of the hand. So my hand, I'm gonna bring the camera up closer, is being literally, stepped on by my hand here. So let me give you a better view. Okay, so I'm like this here. I have my knee on my hand. I'm literally just compressing it. Now, again, if you can't do this, totally understandable. It's also some people like to turn their fingers toward the knee and press into the hand. I think it's a little different. You get kind of into the thumb. Keep weight into your left knee and your left hand and apply weight slowly, okay? A lot of people can actually do the stepping on it too. So the further version, you kind of look at my heel. So my heel is pushing into my thumb, my pinky, the meat of the hand with the heel, the mound, the base of the hand, where you're kind of just compressing. Then I go a little bit more through the fingers. I like the foot a little bit better than the knee. People do their shins too. You can push your shin to compress your hand. It's like someone squeezing your hand. It's just compression. It's really good. And then say you can't do any of that, just something like this. I'm taking my left hand, just getting into that hand, giving it some squeezing. Just looking, how can we give ourselves yoga is not a perfect system by any means. It's lacking in a lot of ways, and that's why I kind of add a lot of modern stuff. And massage is self-care. It's so good to add to practice. Second side, please, if you haven't. I'm on my left. I'm starting with the shin, the knee. The knee is what like the gymnasts do. To get that deep compression, we have all these tiny bones in the base of the hand. And it's a common place of what's called fixation. You get these like tiny little like slips in between joints or bones, and it like sticks there. Think about like an adjustment. You go to a chiropractor, you're in a yoga stretch, you get that pop, a release. That's like a fixation release. So that can happen. All these tiny little bones in your hand at the base of your metacarpals there. Metacarpals are the longer bones in the hand, and then there's at these base with all these little bones. I think there's like 9 of them if I remember correctly. But you're just compressing, okay? And again, I love the heel. That's not accessible for everyone, okay? Feels really good. You have to play with it. You know, you're new to it. You might not get the all out of it as you can. It's a learning, you know, it's a journey. So, you know, the first time you're doing this, you have to play with it. You know, sometimes use the outer edge of your foot, sometimes use the arch, sometimes use the heel, right? So they're like kind of different tools. Say you have massage tools, right? All right, so you're gonna, you know, finish that up. Another nice way to do stuff like that is, you know, just this. So just to give you some more options here. This is good for when you want to do your calves too. Just notice my posture. You're trying to sit up a little bit, and I just compress the hands between my hamstrings and my thighs. So my palms are up, they slid in that knee joint, and then I kind of go like this, like forward and back. Many ways to do it. We're just looking, how can we compress those hands, work on those hands? We'll work them throughout the day, right? So take a moment here. I'm going to switch it up, even though we want to do our forearms too, all right? But I'm going to switch it up for now. So let's come down to our chest. And let's start with the thighs. Remember, this is a dynamic release. We're using movement to release body parts, joints, muscles, rather than just stretching all the time. You know, there's a lot of modern, let's call them exercise physiologists that, you know, say a lot of people overstretch. You know, we want to make sure the body's strong. Muscles are designed to activate. You know, we want to apply stretching if they're, that's called overactive or shortened, so stuck short, you know, that's when stretching is applied. But sometimes we kind of like overstretch. So this dynamic releasing, moving to get blood flow, bring that joint through its range of motion. Here's rotation. And I'm using it for, let's massage our thighs. Okay, so say you don't have a foam roller and you don't know how to massage those thighs, here's a fantastic way to do it. I am looking for the outer hip. So my outer thigh has a muscle that runs up the IT band, vastus lateralis, your outer quad. And I notice on a lot of people that that's very tense. So remember, when we're massaging, you are looking for sore spots, not just working on them, but everywhere. But really, I do want you to go into that sore spot. So there has to come a moment, you warm up the area, you feel it out, and then that second kind of, let's say, tier of the massage, you work right on that sore spot, guys. Okay? I know it can be intense, but I'll tell you, you can, there's a lot of chemical things happening when you're, it's almost like, it's like a sweet ache. It hurts a little, but you can kind of tell you need it, and it almost feels good in a sense. It depends on how sore it is, right? Now, we're gonna bring it, so there's our thighs, right? We came from stretching the shins, now up the thighs. So let's keep going. You know, we were getting the hips there too, but now I wanna run abdomen and lower ribs. So it's Cobra, but I wanna do gentle Cobra, Kriya, into full Cobra, Kriya. So nice and slow. I'm gonna kind of lift my chest, relax my shoulders back and down, and then I'm gonna lower down. So this is my first option. Notice, I'm kind of going up and down, abdomen, ribs, chest. So we're continuing to apply yoga movements, but more of an intention of the massage, okay? Now, here's our first option. Now, second option is just taking it higher, bigger stretch, inhale, lift, kind of get into your hips a little bit more, but I'm still going nice and slow using my back muscles, kind of going up. I'm pulling the navel in and up, lifting my chest. Remember, I'm always creating length, guys, all right? Anytime we're bending, length kind of precedes it. Like, why bend your spinal joints if they're like, you know, compressing via weight or via some position? So think of like the spinal joints kind of just subtly elongating, right? The number one cause of sciatica is like bulging discs, right? It's kind of like compressions in the spine, or Wait, I might be wrong on that fact though. So it's a structural cause that's really like difficult to undo, and it takes very repetitive, active work to release structural sciatica coming from lumbar. And when sciatica gets chronic, it's bad. You get like neural degeneration. Your nerves are not like, the nerve's pinched, so you're not getting a lot of firing. Now, let's keep going here, guys. I want to stay with the chest. Now, we have this muscle called pectoralis major. Not easy to massage, self-massage, right? But here's why. I want to bring my arms wide. I'm going to show you two angles. I'm going to bend my knees, and now we're kind of adding on. So I'm going to go right. I'm going to roll on my right ribs, my right upper chest, and my right shoulder, even down the arm. And then I'm going to go back through center, massage, reach my left arm out, roll to my left. Try to feel how this big chest muscle relates to the floor. Okay, you're also getting the ribs now side to side, whereas before we did a forward and back, let's say, or up and down. Okay, so now I'm going even more to the side, and I'm rolling through the chest and the ribs. Now, some of you guys it looks, you're kind of doing this. See this? Common yoga pose, right? We always hold this stretch here. We do things like, three-legged dog with the open hip. That's quite similar. Even things like half moon and triangle, you get similar type stretches here. Obviously, a little more rotation in the spine here. So further what's called like a spiral or transverse stretch. Really good stuff. Don't forget this one, guys. You're doing your floor yoga, your exercise. Really nice mobility drill, really nice massage, and if you hold it, really nice stretch. I'm gonna keep going, yogis, all right? Let's keep coming back. Now, right on our back here, or right on our chest, listen, I want you to roll to your side. So it's like you're in bed, and now your prop becomes your pillow. If you missed the beginning of class, we started in child pose with our block, massaging eyebrows, forehead, temples. We even did a little cheekbone pressure point there. Now, I want you to take your block. Again, I like the second height. Some people do the first height. It depends on what you feel in your body. So look at this. I'm not crushing my ear. My ear's not under. Now, what you do here, guys, is bite down your jaw for a moment, and you'll feel a muscle engage on the side of your head, okay? And that's the muscle we're kind of targeting. It's a big muscle that your jaw clenches, okay? So take a moment here, close your eyes. And I'm noticing that I'm actually quite sore here today. So, go slow here. Again, work the whole area, but then eventually kind of zone in on the tighter, more sore spot, okay? Is everyone feeling that? Just be careful of the neck, right? To start, you just want to do a simple thing like child pose, you're rocking side to side. On the side of your head, you're just bringing your head a little forward and back, right? So, this is gentle yoga, guys. When you think of gentle, what's a synonym? Easy. We want stuff to make us feel good here. It's not like we're pushing challenge, even though, often I do teach a lot of gentle strengtheners. Not so much today. More so than often, you're going to do strengtheners every class, okay? So when you're done, is everyone feeling that? It's a big place to get release here. Remember that this is all fascia. It's connecting around the eyes and the headache, and it goes up in the ears, it goes in the nose, it goes in the mouth, up the back of this hole in the skull, the foramen magnum there. So we want to release the fascia. Second side, please. It's like you're in bed, you roll over the other side, you bring that pillow under here, and then boom, you kind of massage. Now say you can't do that, it doesn't feel right. What you do is you just bring your hand up here. That's a nice way to do it too, okay? Really, they're different. So you'll notice that doing with a block on your side will kind of expose soreness that you weren't aware of. And people always say like, oh yeah, I didn't realize I was sore there. Well, eventually, if it goes chronic enough, you kind of will start to feel it more. The more that muscle stays kind of hypertense, irritable, overactive, eventually that's going to turn into exposed pain. So right now it's kind of hidden because it's not like a very acute or chronic form. But eventually that it's going to like build into the memory, and you're gonna feel it a lot more, and also it'll probably be harder to get rid of. The longer it stays. It's like the longer the muscle's tight, more difficult it is to release it. All right. All right, so you're kind of on your own. Sometimes, guys, I feel like I need this. Sometimes I just wake up, I feel a little bit more whatever, sinuses or headache or heat, and I've done this for like 15 minutes to where this is almost like getting irritated. You feel such release all through the head, the eyes. Okay, I'm gonna keep going here, guys. So let's come back to center, and let's come up here. All right, now. The forearm, not the easiest place to massage because of range of motion. Now, the easiest would just be to sit back, and very simple. I squeeze my middle of my forearm, my palm is face up, and I just kind of rotate. So I use the moving of the right arm, the massage arm. And what I'm doing is just going like this. Remember, these muscles mainly are running kind of up and down the arm, even though we have the wrapping muscles, right? But I'm just doing this. I'm kind of pushing those fingers into the arm, and I'm going like this. Today's self-care day. Let's give ourselves some sacred, healthy touch here. Stimulate it all deep. So I'm just going like that. I'm rotating this. I'm even flexing it, extending it. I'm rolling it as I squeeze. A lot of people call that like it's a form of active release. That's common in like physical therapy. Someone will like shorten, traction, pin down, compress, or all the above, and then they have you active movements, right? Really fantastic. If you want to do a class on that, we can one day. But I'm just going like that. Now, let's take this further. You can just put your forearm on the block and use the corner to get into that knee, okay? Not my favorite, not that easy, but you have to get detailed here. Like I feel a sore spot in the back of my forearm right here. What did I do, right? But my favorite, that's not easy, is the kind of gymnast compression. Again, lat range of motion is a thing here. The forearm goes down. Now look, it's facing to the lateral cross, palm up, and I have to get my knees forward, hand forward. Watch the right knee. It's on the forearm. I am literally putting the weight of my knee into my forearm, okay? Again, not easy, okay? And I'm going up and down, a little bit forward and back, and I just let it melt, okay? Say like a serious hand balancer, you're working crazy handstands, your forearm's so much on the wrist. All those wrist stabilizers run up the forearm, right in the fingers, and they, people's wrist and hand hurt, you immediately go to the forearms first, usually. So let's do our second side, please. Maybe starting with a little bit of this, just so you feel it on both sides. Ooh, I can you're just kind of moving the hand, getting in there, okay? You squeeze and supinate, pronate, or flex and extend, or laterally move the wrist. A lot of people, when they're doing wrist rehab or strengthening, they forget ulnar radial deviation. So this, right? So when you're doing it, and you're trying to make the wrist stronger, it's quite easy actually. People complain about wrist pain in yoga. I could give you a quick routine, and it will do it for a couple of weeks. You will instantly notice the difference. Maybe after one session, where you do weighted supination, pronation, ulnar deviation, radial deviation, inflection, extension. And it really can change everything. So make sure you're doing your block on your forearm, so block above. There's also this, where you take the block and kind of go like this. You also take your hand and go like this. See that? I should have mentioned that. The knee is like the further version. You kind of just put the inner forearm down and you press in there, okay? Then you can turn it down and kind of press the top. The top is a little more difficult. There's less muscle layers there. I think there's 3 big layers of the flexors and 2 up here with the common extensor tendon. Time we got here. All right, so we got to kind of keep going if we want to get everything done here. So next thing, I'll keep moving. You know, we didn't get maybe as long on that left forearm. There's less like instruction, so you kind of go on your own, right? Listen to your body. Roll out your wrist, shake it out. All right, let's keep going here, guys. If you want to reach for your toes, right? We did a little down dog, but we haven't done much stretching. If you want to go there, but I'm going to show you how to massage your hamstrings. Hamstrings are a very commonly tight muscle, right? They are posterior chains. So now we're going more into the back body. Now look what I do. I take the block, start on the lower setting, and remember, hamstrings are a very long muscle. It connects here at these like, let's call it like the sit bone area, and almost to across the knee, right? You know, some are here and some are like here. So across there's like two joints, hip and knee. So we want to do both areas. So I'm going to get it like right up at what we call like the origin or the hamstring attachment point. And look at that, the edge of the block is pushing into my hamstrings. We have a special cell there called the Golgi tendon organ. What that cell does is it measures, it's a neural cell, specialty neural cell, and it measures tension in the leg. So we have these certain massage techniques that stimulate Golgi tendon organ that help a muscle when there's like tension. So this can help a muscle like release by stimulating particular areas. Now, you know, I might want to feel a little bit more. So what I do is kind of shift more weight into there. And look at that, I'm kind of moving it an inch up more toward the glute. Ooh, and I'm just letting it dig in there. Now remember, we got one hamstring on the outside of the leg. We got one more on the inside of the leg. So I kind of get on the inside. Now, I want to teach you to massage your body today, guys. So we're gonna, I think, maybe use most of the class for this. I'll throw in a few yoga poses. Let's do something different. You know, let's break our patterns here. All right, now I want to bring this right into the groin. Same leg, same leg. So here's our left hamstring. Now, what you have to do for this is we're trying to go to the inner thigh. All right, watch this here. I gotta start the block on the middle setting, lower setting if you're new. I gotta kind of turn my hips to the right and bring my inner left thigh down on the block. Okay, and what I have to do is use my hands and my hips. It's a nice yoga pose. You get some side stretch here, you get some outer hip stretch, and I'm just kind of rocking forward and back. Now, the reason I like it on the higher side, I usually use foam roller for this, but this works too, is like that inner thigh a little bit more kind of, a little bit more pushing, compression there. So you kind of just go a little bit, you roll your front hip down, you roll your back hamstring down. You know, I'm already starting to feel it, all this massage. It's almost like, I don't know how to explain it, but like euphoria. You know, it's like these chemicals are rushing. I'm like on an endorphin high right now. I can feel it. So you notice that, right? We're working out all that hidden pain in your body, releasing all those chemicals. When tissues harden, they do trap kind of, you know, chemicals in the body that it creates, whether it's endorphins, whether it's stress hormone. So massage can get very emotional. Okay, so hopefully you're feeling that in the inner thigh. Now, ideally, you know, you go right up higher on the attachment point. Ooh, right up where that, you know, most sensitive spot might be. And then you're going to go down on the, above the knee. Don't go on the knee, but like right above it. Okay, like I said, these muscles have many parts of connection joints. So I forgot to mention the hamstring. Again, we got limited time. So we would do up at the joint. We would do more in the belly of the muscle. Right in the middle, they call that, and then right below the knee, right above the knee there at the bottom of the hamstring. Again, we probably can't do everything today, or else we'll be here for about probably 2 to 3 hours, all right? So I'm gonna, you know, that's a pretty good, I already still feel a lot. Let's do our second side. There you go, hamstring. And you just start to move it back and forth. Close your eyes, apply yoga, right? The focusing, the tuning in, the presence, the calmness, the self-awareness, the self-study, the observation of the self. So first it's feel a lot, and then the whole other side of the coin is the observation, the objective. You guys liking this stuff? Pretty cool? Cool. we won't do this a lot, so try to, remember. And I'm recording this class if you wanted me to send it to you or something, so you get a reminder. And we can do a foam rolling class too. Foam rolling, learning to foam roll your entire body is really fantastic. All right, so do your inner thigh, knees bend, roll that inner thigh down. So the inner thigh rolls down, okay, forward and back a few times. And I'm like, yeah, I'm noticing it's more sore in the post. I'm just giving you my kind of, what's going on in my head here. What am I noticing? The back of my hamstring. It's not so much like more of the front today. Some days it is. It's like the back. And my right is actually a lot more sore. I was helping a young lady get ready for high school soccer. So I'm training her a couple times a week. And man, I am not used to playing, so my groin is really sore. I'm bringing the block up higher. We call that let's call it attachment point, where the muscle's kind of turning into tendon, connecting to the bone. And there, you're gonna get different sensations. Ooh. And you notice what I'm doing? I could take my top hand and push down on the thigh. I could also rub down the quad and the IT band. So you can apply multiple things. You can sit up tall, get a little side stretch. So yeah, I do want you to explore, guys. Be in that moment and look around, okay? So I do want to keep the massage going. Let's stay seated for now. Calves. Big one. This is going to be sore, probably on a lot of us. So shake it out. So we did the left side first. So let's stay with that trend for now. Start to get lower, maybe higher. Start in the meat of the muscle. Boom. Calf on block. Here you go. Side to side. Remember, there's cross fiber massage, and then they call it muscle stripping. So the cross fiber is the one where if my muscles go upward, remember, muscle cells can be long, right? They lengthen the muscle. Whatever given muscle, it goes in that direction from origin to insertion or vice versa. So here is a cross fiber massage. What can happen is muscle cording, adhesion, muscles get stuck together. Literally, you'll have multiple muscles running up and they adhere together. They get stuck together. So we're trying to say break those muscles apart, right? Now, another thing that can adhesion is the sliding mechanism of the muscle. A muscle contracts, shortens, and lengthens. You can also go that way. It's not as easy to do this here, but just a reminder to massage yourself across muscle and kind of up and down, let's say. I'm gonna bring it down. Let's remember our gastroc is our big calf. Lower around the IT band behind it is the soleus. It is a different muscle, more of your walking muscle. So now I'm kind of going not so hard on the IT band. Remember, we do basically want tendons tight. We don't really want to massage tendons. A little bit's good, but it's more like the muscles under it, side to side, that are all attaching. Remember, muscles turn into tendon. That's the musculotendinous junction. Really, muscles and tendons are not separate. People would say, oh, you got tendon tear, muscle tear. People think your IT band is a separate thing. No, the muscle just turns into tendon. It's like this slow transition. And this is a very dense, tendinous, soft tissue, cartilage area, and because it's bearing your weight. We need a lot of strong tissue because the ankles are constantly shifting, balancing, firing, okay? Now, I want to keep going. Just notice, before we do the second side, why don't you take a moment, release your left leg, and just feel the difference. Move your ankles. Can you notice your ankles feel more released? Now, if we were to get detailed, there's trigger point work on the outer and the inner, but we can't do all that today. Let me know in an email if you like this stuff. We can always do another one,
okay? Second side, please, belly of the muscle or like the gastrocnemius, big upper, kind of more superficial calf muscle. And I'm noticing the same thing. This side is way more sore. As I go to the right, which means really I should probably apply a little extra time here on this side. Starting to go a little bit more on the side, you know, all the way out towards the almost shin, front muscles. Rolling the ankle a little bit. Remember, again, you can like kind of pin down and roll the ankle. It's a little more like an active release. Okay, might not feel much. Maybe you will. You can point and flex the foot, stuff like we do in yoga all the time. Okay, and then, you know, your pace, you go a little lower, more right above the heel, ankle type, the lowest part of your calf. Try to use like the corner of your block. If you like, you know, as opposed to a massage with like the heel of your hand, it's like the fingers getting in there, a little bit more like a trigger point, a sharper, smaller tool getting in a more defined area. Notice I'm rolling to the inner edge of my ankle, and that's where I'm like most sore from like the soccer stuff. Really sensitive, right on that inner ankle. Yeah, and some of these are adding in stretches. You know, I don't mind. You do a quick massage. You don't feel like you need it. You know the stuff. You can do something else, right? So I'm going to keep going. So remember, it's back line. So we did here, we did here, we did the inside. Outside is a tough one to massage. It's really advanced to do this stuff like massaging your RT band. You really kind of need a foam roller. We could do just straight compression on the outer hips. But, you know, I want it to be kind of, if you want to try this quick, you know, I basically bend my left knee, I bring my right hand behind me. I lift my butt up with my left foot, the back foot, my right outer foot, my right hand, and I put the block or the foam roller here. And you can just let it compress. This is like, can be quite painful for a lot of us. So you just kind of let it compress. That's how I would start. I wouldn't really start moving if you're gonna, really subtle. Another nice thing, guys, is to have your second hand on the block. If mobility, flexibility is ever the issue, you know, how can I, you know, support myself? So now we're getting into like intense massage because all the weight's down. Now I like to use like pigeon, right? So how about we just do that or stick with that? Foam rolling, right? You can go like up and down, you know that, you can go on your forearm. And then you just let it compress. You go a little bit posterior, outer hamstring, and a little bit front vastus. Okay, so if you're not gonna do that, let's take a pigeon stretch. Let's get back to a little yoga, compressive stretch here. Right shin forward, feels nice right now. And actually I can really feel that nice massage, actually feels good. Walk the left foot back. All right, roll that left hip toward the right heel, press your right foot down, right shin down, let's maybe come down to our forearms. So this is massage, it's compression, okay? Close your eyes, let's take a good 5, 8 deep breaths here. And what I'd like you to do is now bring breath practice into the mix because we want to remember to massage the inner body, right? The heart sits right between your lungs. Every time you inhale really deep, it does potentially kind of almost lift the heart up. It like squeezes it. Think how good it feels when someone rubs your shoulders. Your heart's always working. Let's breathe really deep. In a sense, you're massaging the heart and all the muscles in that kind of thoracic cavity. The diaphragm massages the organs. The belly breath, where the belly expands and contracts. So apply those, deeper organ and visceral fascial massage. Okay, big inhale, yogis. When you're done there, let's please go to our second side. So left shin forward. Now guys, this is rare because every gentle yoga class, unless it's a yin, we do a lot of balance work. We always do standing yoga because it's functional. We're on our feet. We need to train our body to be on the feet. Today is one exception. Most classes, we're always going to do our balance work. So maybe a little later in your day, do your tree pose, do a closed eye balance. You got your balance wobble board, do a round or two, okay? Because we're not doing it today. But I still would like you to apply balance every day. So left shin forward, right foot crawls back. Let's come down. Let's work on that belly, full chest cavity breathing, connecting to the inner subtle sensations. Nice, Kev. And if you did the block thing, remember where you tried the block? Where the foam roller on the outer hip, thigh more, okay? Really, you don't have to move. You can just let it kind of push in there. Keep weight into your hands and in your feet. Don't forget too that this is helping stretch the glutes and the IT band. Gets really a lot done. It's also a shin compression, so the outer shin, ankle. It's really a great stretch. I really don't teach it enough. You know, my compensation pattern, it's not really tight on me that much like I know, and some people say it is. So it's always a good one to do regularly. All right, I'll keep moving, yogis. You're kind of on your own at this point. I'll demonstrate what's next. Glute massage. Now, what stinks is we're not really going to do, yeah, actually, you know what? We are going to do glute. We're going to do glute medius. We're going to do it today. But quick glute massage, simple, knees, feet wide, arms bend behind you, and massage the butt. So we're going to do just a few more things, guys, and then you're going to be kind of done with your self-massage. Now, I'm going to leave out a little bit. Some of the more advanced self-massage techniques I can't really do in gentle yoga. So I really want you to get into your butt cheeks and right down, like sit up a little higher, get down in the, like the sit bones, all those bottom of your sacrum, the coccyx. Another nice method you want to try quickly is if I come back to my shins. You know, we're jumping around here, I remember stuff here. But look, I'm sitting, I like to use a tennis ball here. You sit on your perineum. You have muscles on the bottom of your pelvis, pelvic floor. The anus is there, a lot of, you know, the Kegel muscles and a lot of perineum. It's like, so what I can do is lean a little forward here and I'm kind of like massaging out the bottom of the pelvis. There's muscles, okay? You can actually try to use more like the edge of the block if you want to go crazy. Again, using like a lacrosse ball, whew, that'll get your root chakra, right? So that's a nice little option. It's all, you know, part of the glutes, so you can feel the blocks also hitting the glutes in like its lowest posterior form there. So there's a little taste of that. And let me give one more for the glutes. So middle glutes, under glute there, we did hamstring attachment. So here it is, guys. It's a restorative bridge. So I take my block under my sacrum. So look where my waistband is. You know, it's very low. It's not like here, even though that is an advanced variation. I want to be honest with you there. I do that all the time, but I don't teach it in group class that much. So you're going to go here, left side to side, and let that, you know, hip flexor start to stretch. Massaging side to side, a lot of muscles. Remember, the sacrum is like an anchor for a lot of your big muscles, a lot of your little rotators, the stabilizers of your hip. It's a good to massage there, okay? And then you can bring, you know, lift your hips, bring the blocks a little lower, so more towards the coccyx. Remember, that's the lowest part of your spine, the sacrum being right above it. These are the fused vertebrae within the pelvis area, okay? Yeah, so that should feel pretty good. Now, if you want to go big, it is probably one of the most important releases of glute medius. It's like, they say it's like your main hip stabilizing muscle on a lot of people. Not everyone, they say that. So this is how you do it. Watch me here, guys. Now, you're gonna need maybe 2 blocks. You can do it with 1 block. I'm gonna come back to my restorative bridge. And
I want to take my second block right next to it. So my blocks are lined up like this. See that? But they're facing because you can't really see. So what I'm going to do is roll onto my left. Now I got to reposition my block based on how my body feels. Look, left leg goes forward, right knee comes in. So you can get a little squeeze. This is a fantastic release in itself. But what I'm going to teach today is roll to my left. Now you have to be, the reason I wasn't going to teach this is because you got to be very particular. And usually I like to take a lot of time to break this one down. So the block is in the glute medius. It's in the outer hip. Just notice it's not in my waist. There's still space, my waistband, above where the block is. So what I'm doing is getting my glute max. As I roll to the side, my upper outer hip, I'm getting what's called glute medius. So let me show you if you're confused. So when you're rolling to the side, the block goes from this back position more to this side position here, like that. So eventually it's almost like you're like this, but it's the knee going across and back to the sky. And it's gonna be intense. Keep playing with the position of the block. Again, it's not in your side waist, yogis. It's not even like down here. You have your hip bone. Let's call this your hip bone. It's like if you were to bump into your friends, your hips, you're playing around with them. And then you have this, let's call it your waist bone up here. It's kind of like tractions between there. It compresses between there. So a little bit below the belt line, right through there. Not too low though. It's tricky, okay? Let's do our second side. You can keep going if you want, but I still want to do your lower back, erectors, and then your upper back and neck. And then we're going to be done, all right? So you're doing your other side. Remember, you have to kind of take the blocks. How about I give you this angle just in case you're not clear. So you're here. I have you going to this side now. I have the other block next to it. Right leg release, left knee in. Take that stretch. That feels amazing right now. And then I roll to the right. I roll back a little. I roll to the right. Big stretch, spinal twist. Gentle yoga, all about making the body feel good. Let's repair, let's restore. That looks good, Janet, but you don't have to hold the knee. Yeah, just you can brace yourself. And then your foam roller might be a little low. So if you can roll it a little bit more toward your lower back. Leslie, that looks pretty good, yeah. Kevin, that looks good. Ooh, you got a wooden block. That's gonna be a strong massage. Is that wood? Nice, the classic kind. When I started yoga, the yoga studios only had like solid wood blocks. I think there's lead in the middle because they weighed about 20 pounds and we'd have to like hold the blocks up, and now they're all foam. So these are good though, they're recycled. The Manduka uses all recycled yoga mats and recycled like plastic foam to like make these. So it's really cool. The Manduka kind of block here, still pretty firm. All right guys, so hopefully that's feeling pretty good. All right, now, we're still in posterior chain. You're in your last 3 massages, all right? So let's just do a couple of bridges, in yoga. Now we're gonna go no block. If you wanna do this, I forgot to mention, this is the easy way to massage your outer hips. See that? Okay, I forgot to mention the easy part there. Okay, so that's it. You do it seated, it's a little bit more glute medius, max, posterior butt, and here's more of the outer hips, okay? Now, let's do the bridge, press our lower back down, let's tilt that pelvis. We're gonna massage our vertebral column, our erector muscles up, and then vertebrae by vertebrae, I'm gonna go as slowly as possible. Again, articulation, exaggerate that curvature of the spine and the slowness, okay? And get into that massage, yogis. Now, say that's a little easy, yeah, you do a few of those. There's also this stuff, guys, where I go like this. That's gonna bring it a little higher, right? And a little bit lower. As I do this, I roll to the left after this part, go down, trace down the left. I go up, I trace down the right. I start to even maybe, bring my arms down, swing it up and over, and really slowly massage down. So again, starting with bridge is fine, But if you want to take it to the rock forward back, full more variation is the plow rock. Okay, but be careful there. Not really a gentle yoga thing.
Again, you don't have to take all these crazy. Some of us want to hold plow for a stretch. That's cool. You know, just so you're seeing stuff from the massage lens today. All right. And this, so that's good. You know, pretty. I wish we could do more, but unfortunately, got other stuff in life, right? So we're gonna sit back up. I want to do the thoracic spine yogis, just a straight compression. If you have a foam roller and you want to put your hands on your head and roll back and forth, I can demonstrate that in a moment. But in yoga, we just kind of do this, block under shoulder blades. See how my butt's on the floor? Now, if you can today, it's the end of class, you can put your hands under your head, slowly let your head fall back, let the front of your neck stretch, bring your arms wide, and take your time. If you want to reposition your block, play with it a little bit. Restorative fish, nice yoga pose. I do stuff like this too, where I kind of bend my knees, I'll lift my butt, I'll even lift my head, and I'm kind of just moving it around a little bit, pulling the tissues around. See that? Be careful, guys. All right, again, gentle if you can today. I'm kind of leaning a little left. It's getting into those scapulae, rhomboids. If I bring the block a little higher along the spine, so my first version was like this. So it's wide, okay, on a lower setting. But now let's call it more vertical on the middle setting. And that means I need more particular placement. I need it in my middle back more. Again, it's not under my neck yet, okay? For those of us who do have like a foam roller, it's quite simple. It's pretty much the main way I foam roll actually. Hands under the hood, and you kind of go like this. Self-massage today. We're tenderizing, okay? We're tenderizing you so you can soak up the marinates of the universe. Soak up the good vibes today. All right. So nice job. We ran up our glutes from our calves all the way, right? So how about we seal it in with the final head? Oh, I did forget one that's so important. Darn it. The crown of the head. So here we are, we're on our back. Option, you want a little inner thigh stretch of class. You can go a little knees apart. See the butterfly? Soles of feet together. I take that block down to the base of the skull and I would rock side to side. All right, so yogis, we got about, I don't know, maybe like 7-8 minutes in class, I think, left. I'm gonna teach this and let you kind of hang here for a few minutes. I will show what I forgot. You're welcome to try it if you want. But listen, we do have about, let's say, 2 to 3 minutes before Shavasana starts, a final meditation. We didn't do a lot of yoga poses you normally do in like. So you want to throw 1 or 2 in there. Don't leave here wishing you did them. Just do them now, all right? You can always just peek up at me. Right now, then more of that kind of upper neck, lower skull, occipital area. I'm even rolling a little bit more to the side. You start to get almost to the attachments of like your sternocleidomastoid, your spleniae. These are big kind of neck muscles and back muscles. Now again, I didn't get to do traps and a lot of shoulders. I would have loved to take time to do this, shoulder and arm compression here. You roll into your side. And you literally have my hand under my thigh, T-band, and my shoulder under my body. And I'm just massaging, compressing the outer arm. It's fantastic, super simple. Another one that's really great is the crown of the head. This is the one I said, oh darn, I forgot. Tabletop, hands wide, forehead toward knees, roll to the crown. And you literally go forward and back, okay, where you're massaging the crown of the head, okay? So fantastic for tension, headache, stress, anxiety. I mean, Personally, head massage is my favorite type of massage. So I can just feel it like immediate. I did that for like 10 seconds and I could like rush over my eyes. You get better at noticing the effects, right? And the last things I would have liked to do here, if we were doing a massage, we didn't do like underarm. That's a very tough one, but it's where we go like this. We release the lat, man. The teres minor major part of your rotator cuff here. It's fantastic. All right. I do ones where we lay on the front of the shoulder, where you go like this, right? With your arms on here. And just to give you a last little demo in case you're watching this video, I want to apply more. We miss certain parts. You traction down, you move forward and back. You also bend the arm and rotate. And there's more, but again, limited time. So let's say last minute, let's finish up our self-care practice and let's close it in with that inner grounding presence, meditative state, okay? So yogis, you know the deal. We just want to calm our nerves. So think of it like in a strength class, you have the peak of intensity. Here you have the peak of gentle or ease or release, calm, okay? Peak parasympathetic. So you want to get comfortable, laying, whatever you want to do, bolsters. I like to cover my eyes. I put blankets over me. I've been trying to take more yoga nidras, so like midday shavasanas and busy morning. Do a lot of stuff, exercise, work, teach, practice, exercise, stuff around the house, duties. And then it's like, okay, I should probably like tone it back, midday shavasana, then yoga nidra. Some days it's an hour, some days it's 5 minutes, okay? So here we go, let's get comfortable. Close your eyes, please. Take a big inhale. A nice sigh can signal into that release, relaxation. You can take 1 or 2 more of those. And then start to relax like your abdomen, start to relax your face, your tongue, your eyes. So the layers of relaxation kind of keep peeling, melting away. And then you're just surrendering into the floor, yogis. You really let go and melt. Okay, let's go about another 4 minutes. All right, yogis, if you have a little extra time, please stay where you are. And it's just kind of one last scan through the body, maybe a last deep breath or two, wiggling fingers, toes, rolling on ankles, wrists, and maybe just noticing anything residual from the massage. You feel anything? You feel more released? I always notice it, like I said, around my face, my head. Or maybe, maybe there's more pain. So good to notice that too, right? So eventually we kind of take a full body stretch, give it a knees into the chest squeeze, all that kind of good yoga stuff. And you make your way up to seated slowly. All right. So again, thanks for keeping an open mind, trying something new. Let me know if you have any feedback. Always send me an email, especially if you have ideas for classes or anything you're looking for. All right. So have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thanks for being here. Namaste. We do have class tomorrow. Oh, quick announcement. Next week, this class starts at 9.